Um, Two pieces, one's short and one's long. Should take no more than 10 minutes. First I'm going to read a poem from that chapbook that Jordan plugged, and then Everyone, Poems from the West End. And this was released by Picture Window Press. I don't have any extras, but if anybody wants one, just give me your address, I'll mail you one. It'll be cool, like the DIY old school days. So this poem's called West Enders. Fall asleep in Toronto, we all live in the West End and move further west, stretch hands to try to grab meteor showers and handfuls of hair pulled away from the backs of nets. I don't hate you anymore. I heard you were asking. Once I wrote about a bus that connected our houses at 2 a.m. I heard the bus broke down. I heard there was an accident. Sometimes people make bad decisions. We all drink too much in backyards, bars, outside, under lights in the dark, as ceramic mugs, plastic cups. We all dance to forget ourselves. I forget myself, fall asleep, Toronto. Sometimes I teach myself to spin. That poem I wrote was too nice and it doesn't fit anyway. Sometimes I teach myself how, forget yourself and smile. I'm giving you permission. This all happened before and doesn't mean too much to me. Just leave, fall asleep. I distract myself with work and a cat that defecates on the carpet when I'm sad. You'll be attending parties we all attend in the West End. We can't get away from each other, none of us, even though our skin says please be quiet, and we dream of silent places, of buses that run from one doorstep to another, a summer like last summer where my heart was broken and I knew it didn't matter. These things are the summer. Last summer it was sticky warm and I fell asleep on my friend's floor and woke up coated in humidity drips. And this summer I'm cold in the West, where we know it doesn't matter and we dance to forget ourselves, where none of us have money and we want to drink until our souls fall out on ferries to the islands where we all talk about going. So obviously I like writing a lot about Toronto and my life there, but I'm going to read from something quite different right now. This is called Never Stop. And this is my first proof, so you guys are getting the first real sneak peek, I guess. This is going to have a cover on it, but it's coming out with And Through the Press, Jim Johnstone's new chapbook press. He used to do Cactus Press, and this is his return to micropress publishing. And it's all a long poem, and it's called Never Stop because I wanted to get this tattoo on myself that said Never Stop, so then when I died, it would be sort of funny, but also because I'm obsessed with this idea of wanting to live forever and keep going. And this poem is about things that keep going, trauma and nightmares, and that idea of mortality as well. The poem doesn't contain any end stops within it in terms of punctuation, and it's not finished. I think it's going to be something I'm working on my whole life because, you know, it never stops. Okay, so here we go. I had a nightmare and it was dark and moved. Thousands of split atoms silk screened on tricolor maps. I was outside my body and looked different. Nothing belonged to me. I swallowed my privilege, white Russians, though milk is disgusting. I had a nightmare, so I signed a petition. Didn't need to be handwritten. Was asked to sign thousands more, but deleted the emails from my inbox. I knelt beside my bed and prayed, tactile, tactile, tactile. Let me be, reveal life through touch. My hands don't work, and someone's caught my words. I imagined that everyone I ever knew was incredibly tall and had roots that penetrated the earth's core, and the roots were constantly on fire. Don't you think we're all on fire too? It was Matt that taught me about gaps, and I was learning how to create white noise with sound, and he said poetry too. Caught in a nightmare loop I couldn't break through to lucid dreaming. Sometimes I get sick of being attacked and then still living. Is this the worst part? And it was Kenny who rescued me from that apartment at the top of the staircase. I imagined that everyone I ever knew, part of an immaculate robotic sculpture, we weren't allowed to move. This is like that part of that Kanye song where he yells and pants with fear. Learn how to breathe because friends will teach you by touching. Does it get easier with practice? I imagined that when I closed my eyes, there was a room, and in that room was another room, and in that room was another room, and in that room was another room. I moved your email from my inbox. I went home before it was too late. I diluted whiskey with water. I felt cold, so I didn't go to the porch. I let myself be alone. I forgot the words to flashing lights. I waited while everyone smoked. I knew the world was different than it appeared. I thought and thought and thought, but nothing changed. I explained rhetorical questions. I danced surrounded by people. I painted a picture of city tracks at night. I trolled the internet. I ran down the street in a wrinkled green dress. I flagged too many cabs I couldn't afford. I took things too far. I woke up to a morning stale and feeling old. I assembled a posse that stood behind me. I understood sometimes things start one way, but then I played a record, but that was dirty and hit. I cleaned the needle. I invented a new word for the city when you can't see stars. I asked my dad to watch the meteor shower with me. I lay in my childhood bed and tried to forget childhood. There must be a way out. I am scratching at the edge of doors, knocking and begging. I'll be fresh and new, naked on the street. The doors are red at the top of the staircase. I'll throw myself into traffic, waving my arms. Thrust myself into gaps. I am knocking. There must be a way out. Red doors, my knuckles and elbows bruised. Up at the top. Where are all my clothes? Time to be kind to each other. But shouldn't be so hard. Medic alert keeps asking for money. Chronically ill is a new fad like tattooed wedding bands. Don't tell him I mentioned wedding bands. He'll do something mean and then I'll have to go pretend people don't delight in hurting each other every single day. Let's share this Coney link. Wait, Coney is passé. It wasn't fact-checked. You have to take baby steps. It feels almost like when Jane moved away and I purpled and burned. I don't want to pretend I have 1,000 arms before G'ing out. It's not even an accident. I've been getting myself under control. This is a message to all of us. Well, okay, time to make some money. Deep throat bodies, bruised knees bodies, head cut off bodies, so smooth bodies, hand and toned bodies, empty bodies, no stomach bodies, part your legs bodies, walk straighter bodies, fix your posture bodies, stretch out bodies, feel fist bodies, see stone bodies, bodies on bodies, bottom of the sea bodies, lost bodies, young bodies, why you so young bodies. Write about the staircase. Write about your brother and gray skies. Write about blood. Write about gray eyes, dark eyes, washed by eyes. Write about giving. Write about the staircase. Write about never stopping. Write about knowing you will stop. I'm going to live for all of time. I knew it as soon as I was born. I was irritated by hospital lights, and I said to my mom, "Is this living? I think I'm going to do it, and just never stop, okay?" So I know if I bleed for a long time, it won't look like death. And when I leapt into that street, it wasn't for you, but to prove I will live a life so pure and great that all of our failed ambitions will look intentional. The world, papier-mâché, glue glaze. Put the light out. I only dream with cornea sliced, lids open to hands. Find me groping, hopping, 1 foot chopped off. There are short stories and books to teach, how to heal. I bent at the waist. My hands were involuntary. 6 steps to how to dance, how to open your mouth in such a way that makes everyone imagine going in. Watch for the words that repeat. They are all lying to you when they say repetition is a bad thing. The sky was bombed out, but you walked with me through cracked glass, charcoal pieces, and starred slate slabs. Electricity erupted and lit the blackened air. You stood on a wooden crate. I could see its grain, and stared through the broken window of an empty building, its insides bombed out. So hard to describe an absence of sky, your eyes and body distracted. As you looked through the shattered pane, the room filled with light. Jess, the entire world concealed by walls. Paranoia looks like this. My friends promised to heal me, so did Mark. The lake waited, but I smiled. I didn't know how the sky could possibly look like that. Taste me, I am still salted. I taught a classroom of men, and I felt undressed and new. It was only my dream. I explained everything to Jane. I wanted to take her hand, impressed that I'd stayed myself and vowed to stop drinking and stop going wild. Jane and I promised each other it would be the greatest year. but that summer I was sitting in our bathroom unable to stand. I met Mark, who was rebuilding. I talked to Sophia and Kenny and Stefan and Beata and Matt and Brenda and Laura and Jill and Naomi and Alex and Jessica and Nads, and yes, I started to feel a little better. My friends were under stacks of books and glasses, and I was alone, or not, and I was being paranoid, and I was being melodramatic, but that's kind of beside the point. And that's it. Thank you. And I'll be out in the summer, I think. Thank you.